My name is Jalil Bethea, watching Crimson Drive, driven by NASCAR.
The mix of salty sea air and burnt rubber. The big skies, high banks, and grandstands. The rumble in your chest. That's what we love about the Daytona 500. Honoring history and making it. At the biggest race of the year on the biggest stage of a lifetime. That's what we love about the Daytona 500. You gotta see it to believe it. Secure your experience now at Daytona500.com.
Roll Tide and welcome to this Tuesday edition of Crimson Drive, driven by NASCAR. This is Roger Hoover. Great to be with you as we start another week here on the show with a great interview with one of our men's basketball student athletes and talk about everything going on with Crimson Tide athletics during a very busy time of the year. We'll start our show by taking a look at our headlines thanks to our friends RJ Young. RJ Young is the official technology solutions provider of Crimson Drive. Let's see what's coming up on the show this afternoon. We'll start with Jalil Bethea, outstanding sophomore for the Crimson Tide men's basketball team. He'll join us to talk about his journey to Tuscaloosa and everything he's doing to impact this basketball team here this season. Then we'll take a look back to a very fun Sunday afternoon at Coleman Coliseum where Alabama got an impressive win against Mississippi State in women's basketball. We'll have our booth cam highlights presented by NASCAR, plus Coach Curry's postgame conversation with Gray Robertson. And then we'll hear final thoughts from Bryan Passink from our basketball booth cam on Saturday as Alabama had a tougher night on Saturday, falling to the Tennessee Volunteers in a narrow game here on campus. You'll get Bryan's thoughts as he really summed up everything perfectly after that ball game that Alabama fell to Tennessee. Speaking of men's basketball, we'll close out the show with our Oats Hey Coach replay, and then at the very end of the show, his final word from last night's appearance at Hey Coach and the Oats show at Baumhauer's Victory Grill in Tuscaloosa, presented by Alpha Insurance. Starting our headlines with men's basketball, again, a very tight game for Alabama against Tennessee, 79-73 the final score as the Volunteers are able to edge out the Crimson Tide in the final moments, a game where Alabama had to play without Amari Allen and Aiden Holloway. One player Alabama did get back, Charles Bediako, as he was granted a temporary stay on this roster from a judge in Tuscaloosa to be eligible for this ball game against Tennessee, and that temporary order has been extended as well for the next 10 days. So continue to see Charles Bediako on the Crimson Tide roster, including tonight as Alabama hosts the Missouri Tigers at Coleman Coliseum. Tip-off was originally scheduled for 8. It's been moved up an hour due to the weather, the cold weather we've had in not only Alabama, but also for the Missouri Tigers trying to get home after the ball game. So tip-off will now be at 7 o'clock. Our coverage will start at 6 on the network. You can listen, of course, full radio network, Varsity Network app. Don't forget as well to watch the basketball booth cam presented by NASCAR here on all of our social media platforms. Then to women's basketball, Alabama had a week off last week as well, just like the men, and got back on track with the Sunday win against Mississippi State. 85-78 was the final score. Jessica Timmons, one of the difference makers for the Crimson Tide, along with Carly Weathers, but Timmons scoring 28 points in that game. That is a new career high for Timmons as she continues to have an all-SEC caliber season, leading Alabama in scoring all season long. Alabama remains in the top 25, checking in at number 24 in the AP poll, and now coming up on Thursday, a huge matchup against Georgia. 5:30 will be the start time, and then coming up on Thursday, we'll talk about what's ahead on Sunday when Alabama has to go to Baton Rouge to take on the LSU Tigers. But first things first, it's Alabama against the Georgia Lady Bulldogs. Coming up Thursday, our coverage from Athens will start at 5:30 all across the network. Some other notes around Crimson Tide athletics. Gymnastics, of course, picked up a win in its first home meet last week against Missouri in what was a great top 25 showdown. Same could be said coming up for this week as Alabama will be at home against Oregon State coming up on 6:30. We'll talk a little more gymnastics, hopefully coming up on our Thursday edition of Crimson Drive, driven by NASCAR. Also, really excited that the Super Bowl is just over 2 weeks away, and Alabama will be well represented coming up at the Super Bowl game with 7 players listed on rosters for the Patriots as well as the Seahawks. A huge congratulations to Jaron Reed along with Joshua Jobe, CJ Dupree, Robbie Utes, Anthony Jennings, Jalen Milroe, and Chris Barmore, all getting a great opportunity to play in the Super Bowl coming up in just 2 weeks. We really look forward to seeing what's coming up for some Super Bowl winners. We know there's going to be a winner coming up in the Super Bowl representing Alabama. And we're getting closer and closer to softball season. If you missed it last night, Patrick Murphy joined Chris Stewart for Hey Coach coach at Baumhauer's Victory Grill, and a conversation we'll replay coming up on Thursday's show. Alabama continues to be a top 25 program with all the different publications, and currently the National Fast Pitch College Coaches Association naming Alabama the preseason number 15 team headed into the year. We're looking forward to all of that coming up for Crimson Tide Athletics, and we're also looking forward to seeing more great plays from Jalil Bethea for this men's basketball team, a transfer from the University of Miami. He joins us to talk about joining the Crimson Tide and everything he's doing here in 2026. Welcome back to Crimson Drive, driven by NASCAR. We're coming to you today from the LLH Healthcare Advantage Center in our podcast studio. Roger Hoover alongside Jalil Bethea of Alabama men's basketball in his first season here at the Capstone. Just Jalil, Roll Tide. How much have you enjoyed this season playing for Nate Oats in Alabama?
I definitely enjoyed it a lot. Well, I've been injured for the beginning of the season, but it's definitely been a process. Really just being there for the team and really just being a winner on and off the court, yeah.
Do you like how this team is starting to come together? I mean, we're hoping to get everybody healthy and on the same page for the next few weeks, but how have you seen this team grow and kind of connect throughout the season?
No, we've definitely been growing since the beginning of the season. Like, it's been picking up ever since. Like, I feel like every day we get better and better, and every day the more time we spend together. And yeah, hopefully that continues to increase as the season goes along.
We certainly look forward to that. What do you feel like your role is on this team right now?
Well, my role really is just coming off the bench, really just having that energy, play defense and hit open shots, really just and make the right play. Yeah, about it. Yeah.
You mentioned play defense. I mean, how much of that blue collar mentality is kind of first and foremost, and then the offense is talked about. Sure, it's a fun system to play in, but really it all starts with defense here.
Yeah, it definitely. Since this is my first year, that blue collar thing really was something new to me, but it really just the more hard you play, the more the blue collar stuff comes to you, and I feel like I kind of needed that for my basketball career, because I really haven't been known as a defensive guy, but I feel like now that I'm here, I can kind of let everybody know that I'm not just a scorer or anything. I can play both sides on the ball.
Do you like how this team really celebrates too? You know, the hard hat winner. I mean, that celebration's bigger than anything you'll have for a top scorer, rebound, or anything like that.
Yeah, we have this word that we've been going around. It's called Mudita. Basically, be there for your teammates and celebrate your own teammates' success. So that's basically what we've been growing off this past year. Like, if somebody hit a three, everybody on the bench gets up, celebrate. Somebody dunk on somebody. Got a lot of tapping their heads and a whole lot of stuff. Yeah, it's just a whole lot of team thing, yeah.
And we love that Medina concept. And then for you, you get to play alongside some really talented guards all over this roster. But a couple in specific I wanted to ask you about. What have you learned getting to be around LeBaron Philon Jr. and Aiden Holloway?
No, they're actually really great dudes on and off the court. Like, they're actually my real brothers off the court. Because even whenever I'm down or anything, or something is going on off or personal life, they always be the first two people that I reach out to.
And they're pretty similar age to you,
yeah.
But yet, those are two of the key veteran leaders on this team. How have you seen them kind of elevate everybody this year?
Yeah, well, you already know LeBaron being that person coming from last year, and only him having to be the leader. And Biz, this is his second year here, so me just be able to follow up and basically just follow in their footsteps and just take whatever they learned from this year and the year, basically just to get better. Yeah, have that trust. Yeah,
we've definitely seen that. You mentioned the injury you had or before the season began. How frustrating was that after? I'm sure you felt like you had a pretty good summer getting ready for this year.
Yeah, I was definitely frustrated. I was in my head for most of the time, but I really just had to get out of my head and just be there for the team. So yeah, that's really all that had mattered. Really just get my body and everything healthy and everything, and just be there for the team. Yeah.
What was the hardest part of all the rehab, all the things you had to do to get back healthy?
Just watching them play, because I really love playing basketball and having to know that it's not out of my control to not play. It really hurt kind of bad, because I don't ever like to sit out.
Is that the longest you've had to sit out in your career?
Yeah, that was my first time ever getting a surgery or having a big injury like that. Yeah.
Wow, so it made it tough, but we were eventually able to get on the floor and play. And as you mentioned, just trying to impact this team any way you can, starting defensively and then offensively as well.
Yes, sir.
That's really good. So that's all led to what you're doing here at Alabama. But let's go back and tell us about your basketball journey. And first of all, tell us where you're from.
I'm from Philadelphia.
Who got you into this sport?
My older brother. His name Jabril. Yeah, like whenever I was like younger, I was about probably like 6 or 7. Yeah, but yeah, we used to go to like this playground. It was called Simon's, and we would just go there and just basically just shoot. Like it would just be me and my older brother, and I didn't even really have like a little jump shot. I really was just launching it from my shoulder. So that's really just how it began.
Like the regulation size basketball as
Yeah,
your
and
little guy.
I was
Yeah.
just like a little guy just trying to shoot as far as I can because I was like at that time, Steph Curry was like he really was I was about 6, 7 so born. So it was like 2011. So he was probably like 2 or 3 years in the league by then. So yeah, that was like my favorite player.
That's awesome. And then how did you continue growing in this sport? And specifically, in Philadelphia, of course, a great high school basketball scene, but also on the playgrounds, all these different things. I mean, I'm sure you're able to work in your game a lot there.
I feel like it started really just playing with people that are older than me. Since I have an older brother, I really was just playing with him and his friends, and that basically got me better from just growing up. Cause as I was growing up, I like saw myself getting better and better every year. So yeah, I ended up like sticking with it.
Stuck with it, became a McDonald's All-American, great honor there. And then in the McDonald's All-America game, you win the dunk contest as well. How special was that?
Yeah, that was special. I wasn't even really trying to like win the dunk contest because if you would have just see my name and the people names that were in the dunk contest, you would never expect me to win that. But yeah, that was actually like a dream come true because I would never have thought that I would have made it that far.
What did you do to get ready for that? I mean, how many of these dunks did you practice? Did you kind of get creative, get feedback from teammates or other people about what to do?
Well, my dunks really weren't creative. It really was just jumping over people. I jumped over like the two tallest people in the gym. So yeah, that kind of really what made me win that. Yeah.
That's pretty. How special was that week at Madison Square Garden?
Nah, that was you said Madison Square
Or
Garden?
was it at Madison Square Garden?
It was in Houston.
Houston. Okay,
Yeah.
this time. Okay.
Yeah, that was like everything that you see on the TV, and you really just live in the reality that really is like you like when you like 8 years old, you dream about that. So yeah.
That's awesome. So great experience there. Then you go to Miami for one season of college basketball, and then you go in the transfer portal. What led to that decision? What were you looking for when you went in the portal?
Well, me and Nate Oats always had that relationship since high school. He's been recruiting me since high school, so I go in the transfer portal, and he's basically one of the first people that hit me up or I reached out to, and yeah, we kind of just made that, kind of just sealed that off. Yeah.
What have you liked about Nate throughout the years, even going back to when he's recruiting in high school? I'm sure just talking basketball as well, in addition to trying to sell you on Alabama.
I would say he's probably like the realest coach that I know. Like he keeps it real. He don't ever sugarcoat anything. He tells you what it is all the time. So yeah, that's the only thing. Yeah, that's not the only thing I like about. I didn't mean to say that, but that's like probably the biggest thing that I like about Coach O's.
You like him kind of away from basketball too? Can you guys talk about a lot of stuff?
Away from basketball, he's a cool person. He always wants to get to know who you are off the court. He always wants to know he checks in with your family and all that. Like Oates is a very good guy at the end of the day. He always just wants what's best for his players.
That's awesome. Were you able to come here on a visit or anything like that to kind of see?
Actually, I came here on A-Day.
Okay.
It was like after I committed though. Yeah.
As I'm sure even with that, you were able to feel some of the energy of this fan base. And then once you made that decision to sign with Alabama, I'm sure you heard from all the fans on social media, and then you got really welcomed to Tuscaloosa.
Yeah. When I was on that A-Day, it was like a couple OGs and a couple of people that went to the school. It was like, hey, ain't that new transfer that came on here? And I'm just like, oh, like people were recognizing already. Yeah, so I kind of felt welcome as soon as I came there.
That's pretty cool. And that shows you, yes, Alabama's had a great football tradition through the years, but people really care about basketball here at a high level.
Yeah, like people who like live in Alabama really care about all the sports. And yeah, that's really like what builds the culture.
What have you liked about being a student here?
Everybody's like really nice. Like nobody's really like out of character or anything. Everybody's really just down to earth, just nice. Treat the people treat people the way you want to be treated. Yeah.
That's really good to see. And of course, you come in for this first year along with some other newcomers, players that either transfer in or the freshmen. Now, how do you guys bond kind of in the off season? Did you do the military style training this year? What was that like? Our retreat probably was like one of my favorite because like even though it was hard, we all like laughed through it and we all were together while we were doing it. So yeah, that kind of built our team chemistry for the beginning of the year. And communicate without cell phones.
Yeah, I mean, we had our cell phone once we got back, but the Wi-Fi was trash. So it was basically no phones for the whole weekend.
Yeah, that's the best way to get all you guys together. That's
Yeah.
certainly cool. As we continue over the next few weeks, what do you feel like this team is capable of?
Our team is capable of a lot of things. Like we're capable of being the #1 team in the country. We just gotta really just stick down, just do the little things that makes us win our games, and basically just blow teams out the water.
And do you love the home court advantage we have here with Coleman Coliseum?
Do I? We go on the run. That's probably the loudest the loudest atmosphere I've probably ever been in. Yeah, like Alabama, the atmosphere is crazy, especially how like big it is. And then like when we on the run, you see everybody hands up. You got the pom poms. Like it's just a lot going on. To a lot of just basically just to feed in.
It's a really great place, and we're glad you're here. Jalil Bethea, just thank you for the time given
Yes,
us here on the Crimson Tide Sports Network. All the best. Roll Tide.
Yes, sir. Roll Tide.
Hey guys, this is Ty Simpson. You're listening to the Crimson Drive, driven by NASCAR. Roll Tide.
This isn't just a race, it's the race. 500 miles of glory, a million memories, one place. That's what we love about the Daytona 500. You gotta see it to believe it. Secure your experience now at Daytona500.com.
Basketball booth cam was up and running for the Crimson Tide Sports Network this past Sunday as Gray Robertson filled in for me on women's basketball and a great victory against Mississippi State. We'll take a look back at some of the highlights from that broadcast, as well as Coach Curry's emotional visit with Gray postgame, talking about some great Crimson Tide players and the way that the fans really have impacted her and this basketball team this season. Remember, the basketball booth cam presented by NASCAR, streaming live for each and every home basketball game in men's and women's basketball this season here on the Crimson Tide Sports Network.
We're ready to see some good basketball between an Alabama team that needs to get off the schneid and a Mississippi State team that has played very well the last few weeks. Carly penetrates into the lane. Out to the corner. It's Scott for three. It's perfect. Death, Texas, Tamia Scott in the corner. Can't ask for anything more automatic than that. Backed into trouble. Kick out to Timmons. Swing right. It's an open Collins for three. It's good. Now this is a good old start right here. 8-0 Alabama. King just tried to foul Collins for reasons. Now Collins rushes ahead and kicks it to the corner, and Austin, who hits a three. I don't really know what the strategy was for Mississippi State, but that really worked out for Alabama. Ace Austin hit the deck as Francis runs the floor, and her shot is absolutely annihilated by Naomi Jones. It's not there. Now she'll drive with the left hand, and her shot was blocked by Jones. Naomi is not letting anything go in. Give to Ramsey. Timmons, left corner. She was wide open, and she hits the three. Tie game again. I have a feeling it's going to be one of those days. 25 all with 10, with 9. Right back to Timmons with 8. No one was around her. She'll fire from the top of the arc and hit. Mississippi State was slow to react. The three is good. 35-31 with 2, with 1. McFall's not going to get a shot off. And at the half, Alabama converts a big bucket to go up 4. And then toss to Scott, who gives it over to Collins in the corner for 3, and this game is tied again. Collins has been a spark on offense. Will drive with a left hand, beautiful scoop and layup, and we're tied again at 40. Now Timmons dribbles with her right hand. Ooh, crisp slip. Timmons stepped back and hit a 3. In your eye, Jessica Timmons. Oh, baby. Richardson, stuck up the elbow right into the throat of Timmons, and that's an offensive foul every day of the week. Off the mark, and a rebound by Collins. She's running the floor. It's 1-on-4. She'll hand it off to Weathers, who swings. It's Austin, left corner, 3. Boom, freshman. Beautiful. And great vision by Weathers. Alabama's within 1, 62-61. Rebound Collins. Alabama can grab the lead again. Diana wants to do it in transition. Now she stops, kicks, Weathers, right side, wide open. Boom, baby. Carly Weathers making it rain. Bama back up 2. Backing down, McFall. Weathers making space, holding space, making the shot. Alabama back in front, 68-66. Mississippi State has not made a shot in over 5 minutes. Alabama's running to Weathers, top of the arc, let her cook. Carly Weathers heating up here in the big crunch time. 8 points in the last minute, and Alabama leads it by 5. Up and under layup is off, rebound is loose, and it's corralled by Alabama. Over to Weathers, right side 3 as the shot clock winds down. Carly Weathers heats up. What a three, 77-70. Weathers will throw it in. Oh, it's a full court heave to Ace Austin. She was wide open and streaking in for the right-handed layup. DeBoer would be proud. I think we're good. Oh, they've changed it to .6. Good to know. Weathers will throw it in. The lob to Jones. She catches it. The buzzer sounds, and Alabama shows off the grit and takes down Mississippi State behind a monster fourth quarter. 85-78. The Tide wins it over the Bulldogs here in Tuscaloosa. The Stars shined brightly. Timmons, a career-high 28. Carly Weathers, 11 points in the fourth quarter. Part of a dramatic fourth quarter here in Tuscaloosa as Alabama defeats Mississippi State 85-78. This is the Regions postgame show. Get your University of Alabama Regions Visa debit card or prepaid Regions Now card today. And we started off with our conversation with Alabama head coach Christy Curry. That chat is brought to you by Ford. And Coach, there are so many directions in which we can take this conversation. Congratulations on the win. I want to start with Carly Weathers. There was a moment where your team needed to show toughness, needed to make shots. She ripped off 11 fourth quarter points, had an 8-1 run on her own. What does that say about her character and her leadership on this team that she came through in that moment?
Well, she's just that, special, unique individual that understands time and scoring situation. And, I thought she passed up a couple of shots and kept telling her, hey, look for your shot. Don't worry about any misses. But I thought she just got her hands on loose balls, rebounded the ball, just steadied the ship when it was a little shaky. And, those are things you don't teach. I think that's innate, and she's just an incredible leader. And, again, I thought she just affected the game for us down the stretch with just high character. And when you have high character and you play the game the right way, I think it rewards you. And she made some big plays for us.
A career-high 28 points for Jessica Timmons. She did that with 0 in the first quarter. What makes her such a dynamic guard and someone who's so capable of having a game like this?
Yeah, we ISO'd her there in the third, thought we could affect the game. She made some big plays, got to the free throw line. That was something at halftime we talked about. We've got to make more free throws than they shoot. We got to put the ball in the rim some and play off 2 feet. Gives you a better chance to offensive rebound instead of a long rebound. I couldn't be more proud of our balance today. I thought Diana, what can you say about Ace Austin and then Naomi? I thought we had, goodness gracious, when you can have 5 in double figures, it was just an amazing effort to put 85 on the board. That's an NCAA tournament team. They're really good. And that's a big win, to separate 4 and 2 from 3 and 3. I just think that matters right now.
You mentioned Naomi Jones. I'm not sure how you are as a coach on plus minus, but hers is incredible. You look at everybody in this game. Naomi Jones was plus 23 when she was on the floor. That's an impact stat. How would you describe the way that Naomi Jones impacted this game today?
Well, it was just her presence, the way she just affected the game with spacing, always being where she's supposed to be, doing what she's supposed to be doing. Sometimes there's just something to be said for that. And, obviously, plus 23, I'm not sure I've seen that in an SEC game. That's pretty hard to do, and that was showing that when she was in the game, that was our best lineup. Essence is going to come along. We're trying to keep her and limit her minutes a little bit. And I thought between 10 and 15, and we got her to 14. Then Lancey came in, but I just couldn't be more proud of our kids. It was gritty and gutsy. I thought our kids got a little frustrated, and we're trying to just tell them play the next play, and I just think that this is just a big win. They're going to look at this at the end of the day and go, man, that's a big win. Especially we had some adversity last week, and I love the way our kids, we needed this win today. I'm so happy for them.
Last thing, a win like this at home in front of this crowd against a team like that, after that 2-game losing streak, how important is that mojo going into a really tough road stretch coming up with Georgia and LSU on the horizon?
Well, the crowd was just amazing, especially on a yucky weather day. We all know what's happening across the Southeast, and for all these folks to come out today and support us, it's pouring down rain. It's supposed to ice here in a little bit. I get emotional. It's pretty cool. So at first I was a little worried, but man, they were a little late getting here. But it was incredible. I just can't thank our crowd, because this team deserves for folks to be in here, and we packed the rafters, and we're going to continue to need it as we head into February. Home court advantage is huge in this league. Hey, we need to pack our bags, get ready to go take it on the road. Same gritty, gutsy effort, and we'll give ourselves a chance.
Coach, you deserve it. This team deserves it. Thanks for joining us. What a win.
Roll Tide.
It's Alabama head coach Christy Curry. You could tell how much it meant to her, the way this game played out, the folks who showed up in the weather, in everything that was going on here in the Southeast. That was special. and I think the perfect encapsulation of what was, frankly, a pretty special day.
Hi, I'm Tamia Scott, and you're watching Crimson Drive, driven by NASCAR.
Didn't have as much fun on Saturday with the Booth Cam postgame show, the Regions Bank postgame show, as I was joined by Bryan Passink to get his thoughts after Alabama had a narrow loss against the Tennessee Volunteers. But Bryan, listening back to his comments now, really puts everything in perspective as the Crimson Tide lose to Tennessee, and we look ahead to what's coming up tonight for Alabama against Missouri.
Bryan, a tough close to this ball game after Alabama did a lot of good things in this contest.
Yeah, this is a really good Tennessee team. Nate Ament and Jacoby Gillespie, as good as advertised, and Alabama down some key players in this one with Amari Allen, one of the best freshmen in the country, unavailable because of injury, and of course Aiden Holloway playing at an all SEC level, not available. Bama just didn't have enough down the stretch offensively against one of the best defensive teams in the country in Tennessee, and it's great to have Charles Bediako back, and what a game he had. He was terrific, and Alabama had to play different, and I think a lot of that was by necessity because you've got two of your key players on the perimeter out. Alabama played two big guys a lot, didn't have the firepower from the three-point line we're used to seeing. Bama, a team that averages double-digit makes from the three-point line, 11 per game, and in this one, just 6 made threes. Now, give Tennessee credit. They were great defensively. One of their strengths as a defensive team is what they do on the perimeter. And against specifically three-point shooting, Alabama did not have their typical three-point shooting in this game. And a lot of it had to do with personnel and with some key players being out. Bama played different in this game. They had to. And I thought did a good job throughout, putting themselves in a position to win, but wasn't able to close. Give Tennessee credit. They were tough, especially on the backboard late in the game. Alabama was right there from a rebounding standpoint throughout, with the exception of late in the game. Tennessee really put the clamps down defensively. Alabama had some great looks, some missed opportunities, some threes that went in and out, some missed free throws, some missed front ends of 1-and-1s, some opportunities to score at the rim throughout against a physical defense, not able to convert. So tough loss at home, but we've been talking about it all year long. I can't wait to see Alabama healthy. We haven't seen it yet. We're going to see it at some point, and hopefully Amari Allen and Aiden Holloway will be back very soon. The good news with these injuries is they haven't been, we don't think they're serious in terms of length. They are serious as far as being nagging and keeping guys out for critical games, which Alabama, unfortunately, has had a lot of experience with that. But we're hoping to get some key players back, hopefully for Bama's next game, but if not, very soon. And I still think everything that Nate Oats and this team wants to accomplish is still right there for them, but they got to get healthy to do it. Got to play better. They won't use excuses of injuries in this game. They lost to a really good Tennessee team here at home. Can't afford to lose home games. Alabama's already lost 2 in the SEC. It's a disappointing result, but doesn't change the fact that this team still has a chance to be really good, especially when they get healthy.
Tough loss tonight for Alabama to Tennessee. Once again, a great performance by LeBaron Philon Jr. as he had 26 points for the Crimson Tide in this win, along with 7 assists and 4 rebounds. He is our Texaco star of the game. Again, presented by Texaco, unbeatable shots, unbeatable plays, and the unbeatable mileage of Texaco with Techron. We will take a look at our turning point of the game, brought to you by Toyota. Visit your local Toyota dealers or explore SEToyota.com today. No matter your destination, Toyota goes with you. Toyota, let's go places. Bryan, let's go to that turning point of this one.
Well, Nate Ament, when he showed up, it was a turning point. He was terrific in this one. Listen, he's going to be a lottery pick, and I believe LeBaron Philon will as well, but Nate Ament was too good in this game. 29 points. He was good in the mid-range, good from the three-point line, and from the free throw line. Alabama didn't have any answers. LeBaron Philon, I thought, played outstanding basketball, 26 points, 7 assists, but just not enough firepower with Aiden Holloway, one of the best scorers in the SEC, top 5 in the SEC in scoring, top 5 in assists and three-point shooting. Amari Allen, one of the best freshmen in America. Would have loved to have had those guys and take our chances with the balls, and hopefully we'll get that chance in Knoxville a little later this season. But disappointing loss anytime you lose at home, but Alabama, a team that I think when they get healthy can get back to the type of play and the type of winning that we've gotten used to around here. But regardless of the situation. Losing at home, it's tough, and this one, tough one to take, but this team will bounce back.
And the first opportunity will be on Tuesday against Missouri. Bryan, we look forward to seeing you then. Roll Tide.
Looking forward to it. Roll Tide.
Fans, there's no better way to experience Alabama basketball than with our live basketball booth cams presented by NASCAR. Streaming live during all Alabama men's and women's basketball home games this season, you'll get a front row seat to all the great reactions from our radio crew as the big plays happen for the Crimson Tide. Make sure you follow us on all your favorite social media platforms at UA_CTSN, especially subscribe on YouTube. That way you won't miss a single basketball booth cam this season. Again, presented by NASCAR for all Alabama men's and women's basketball home games this year.
Go Holloway, a deep three, bottom. Mercy from 30 feet out, dead on. Holloway with 25, and Bama leads it by 14.
Always to kick off our week of programming here on the Crimson Tide Sports Network, it's Hey Coach and the Nate Oats Show, presented by Alpha Insurance, live at 6 p.m. at Baumhauer's Victory Grill in Tuscaloosa. Patrick Murphy was on the show along with Marley Giles from Alabama softball, but also Nate Oats was the headliner as he talks Crimson Tide basketball with Chris Stewart. We replay that conversation now as we get set for Alabama against Missouri.
With the head coach of the Tide, Coach Nate Oats. Good to see you, sir. Thanks for the time.
Good to see you again. Wasn't too long ago.
No, it's. I'm sorry. you got to see me a bunch in short time span. But tell me how you guys have handled the adversity. Two things: the adversity of injuries and the adversity of some losses you're not accustomed to, especially coming at home. But one is tied to the other, I feel like, Coach, a big part of it, and that's not to take anything away from anybody that's had success against you.
Yeah, no, I agreed. You got to give everybody that's gotten a win against us their credit, but we haven't been fully healthy. But I told our guys, we've got 5 really good players on the floor against their 5 players, and we need to do better, and we need to get to wins. So, it'd be great to get everybody healthy, but should have may never happen. Who knows? It's sports. They're not guaranteed to have everybody healthy. So, we got to get better. The guys that are on the floor need to play better. The guys have they've handled it well enough. They know we got to get better. It's not good enough right now. Nobody signed up to be 3-3 in the SEC. So, we've got to come out with better focus, better intensity out of the gate on every possession. We can't let missed shots, missed calls, whatever distracts them from what they need to be doing. We can't let that be a distraction. So I've got to do a better job keeping them focused. They need to do a better job staying locked into what we got to do. And obviously, if we get healthy, that'd be a help. But we got plenty of good players that are available to play. So we've got to get this thing turned up the right way here. Starting tomorrow, to be honest with you.
Tonight's first question brought to us by Alabama 811. Help prevent injuries, outages, and loss of life. Call 811 or visit al811.com. Before you dig, it's free, it's simple, it's the law, and it's Pee Wee down in Grand Bay. Go ahead, Pee Wee.
Hey, Coach, how are you doing, sir?
I'm good. A little chilly up here, but we're good, Pee Wee.
Coach, my question is that here in some of these past games, there's other teams have had a lot of success of being able to run us off the three-point line. And I've noticed that during that time, they take us deep into the shot clock before we can try to get a decent shot. And it seems like maybe we get just a tad bit frustrated when that happens, a couple possessions in a row. How can you turn that around and be able to function the half-court offense against that type of a defense?
Very observant. Great question. We actually addressed this in film. We are getting way too late in the clock too frequently. We're not playing fast enough, I don't think. I think we can play faster and attack teams earlier in the clock so that we don't end up late in the clock. 2 is we've got to do a better job creating advantages, getting teams in the blender early. We're not, our pick and roll play isn't it what it needs to be. Sometimes we're running pick and roll, getting no advantage, or another one no advantage, another one no advantage. We've got to actually create an advantage and force teams to pull a third guy in, to stop pick and roll. And we had that going against Tennessee early. We were finding Bethea on the lob, and then they had to pull people in, but we didn't do a good enough job getting the ball moving. I think we were 1 for 6. I think maybe we hit one late in the half and ended up 2 for 7 in the first half. It wasn't good enough. And then Tennessee went to switching. That's what a lot of teams have done. They'll switch and don't have to really pull a third defender and pick and roll. So we've got to be able to still hit the paint, pull a third defender in, kick the ball out, get a team moving, us playing off closeouts. And, what we like to say, keep them in the blender. So we're not doing a good enough job getting teams to have to play closeout basketball, getting them in the blender. I think part of it's we're not playing fast enough. Second part is we're not doing a good enough job in pick and rolls, creating advantage. And the third one is we just got to get off the ball sometimes and not over dribble it. Sometimes we're over dribbling the ball. So, we worked on it. We looked at some video in practice, and we got. And like you said, sometimes we'll start pressing a little bit. The other team goes on a run, and we'll take a couple selfish shots. Even though I don't think anybody on the team's particularly selfish, I think they're just trying to make something happen. And they got to trust the offense, trust their teammates, and I think we got to focus on doing that a little bit better here.
Coach, obviously one of the major storylines, having Charles Bediako back on your roster. It's the first time we visited here on this format since you got him. I just want to talk the basketball piece of it, how he looked, the dynamic at practice, the locker room. I mean, he had one day of work before the game and obviously had an impact for you, gave you something off the bench at a level you haven't had. So just talk to us about that piece of it as a teammate and as a player on the floor, what Charles has brought to you in a short amount of time.
I mean, he's always been a great teammate, great kid. So, he doesn't know everybody on the team really well yet, but he's getting to know them. And he's a great teammate. He's pulling for him. It's not going to be a guy that cares whether he starts, doesn't start. He's just going to come in and do what we need him to do. It's not like he hasn't been playing basketball. Now they've been in different systems with different teammates, but he's been playing. He felt like he got the ball a lot more in this game than I don't know how many of you. The G League isn't real highly watched league, so I'm sure you haven't watched any G League games this year, I'm guessing. But they tend to have guards that don't want to move the ball there. They're trying to get moved up, and most of them think they're going to get moved up by scoring it, which isn't necessarily true, but that's kind of, for those that have watched G League, played in it, coached it, you got to fight those tendencies with a lot of those guards. And he made the point that, he's getting the ball more with our guys. We got better passers from the guard spot. So I think he enjoyed it. We certainly enjoyed having him. He gives us some rim protection. And, Aiden Sherrill's so skilled. It's and Noah too. Now Noah hasn't shot particularly well at this year for us, but he can play on the perimeter. That's what he did when he was the Patriot League Player of the Year. Played a lot on the perimeter. So, Noah and Aiden can both play the 4, so we can play 2 of those 3 bigs together when these other teams have double bigs out there like Tennessee did. And matter of fact, Missouri's going to have a double big. Mark Mitchell, who scored 31 and was really played the center for him last year mainly, is their starting 4 now. So, they've got 2 bigs. Florida's coming up right after that. They always play 2 bigs. So, he gives us the ability to play 2 bigs more. And we got, and at least have one rim protector between him and Aiden on the floor at all times. And he's a lob target. He'll go up and catch a lob, which you saw in the game on Saturday.
Real quick, a thought on Missouri. You mentioned them briefly, but if you could give us just a quick thought on the Tigers.
Yeah, they're a good team that's played their game ahead of us, or half a game ahead of us in SEC standings. They've got 3, the only team in the country, Stephen told me earlier today, that's got 3 shooters shooting over 40% that make over 2 a game. So, we've got to make sure we know who the shooters are, we know the personnel well. Mark Mitchell destroyed us last year at 31. He's back. He's a guy that started at Duke and transferred there. He's playing the 4 for him, can also go down and play the 5. So we got to make sure we do much better job on him than we did previously. And this is a team that'll run. I mean, Coach Gates came in there, really changed the style of basketball there. They've had some really good years under him. They've had some real quality wins here this year. And it seems like they're winning all the close games, and they're in a bunch of close games. So, we got to come in, focus on our defense, get the ball moving on offense, and do a better job just staying focused on every play. We came out, got a 10-point lead on Tennessee, and didn't really put them away like I felt like we could have, And I'm not saying we're going to necessarily come out and get up 10, or we'll have to see how the game goes. But I think we're playing the scoreboard too much and not just focusing on every play. Just play the play, do what you got to do, defense, offense, rattle off some stops, have great possessions. Whether the ball goes in or not, let's make sure we're getting great shots up. And let's make sure we're focused on every possession on defense, and the score will take care of itself if we do that.
Then you're in good shape. If you take care of that, we'll see what happens. Right?
Yeah, I mean, that's what we got to do, and we got to.
Hi, my name is Mario, and you're watching Crimson Drive, driven by NASCAR.
We'll hear once again from Coach Oats coming up in a moment, but now we want to take a look at our upcoming schedule and see what's shaking on the Crimson Tide Sports Network. Later tonight, it'll be a 6 p.m. airtime from Coleman Coliseum for Alabama against Missouri, again on our full radio network, Varsity Network app, as well as the basketball booth cam presented by NASCAR, streaming live on all of our social media platforms at UA_CTSN. Then coming up on Thursday, it'll be a busy day with Crimson Drive, driven by NASCAR at 2 o'clock. Women's basketball will be at Georgia. We'll hit the air at 5:15 coming up for that broadcast of the Crimson Tide and the Georgia Lady Bulldogs. And then coming up on Friday, of course, Alabama gymnastics will be at home. On Saturday, there will not be a ball game, but Sunday, there will be 2 ball games. As we start the month of February, women's basketball will be on the road against the LSU Tigers. 10:45, we'll have our coverage start from Baton Rouge for women's basketball. And then Chris Stewart, Bryan Passink, Tom Stipe will be in Gainesville for Alabama against the defending national champion Florida Gators in a very rare Sunday men's basketball game. 11 a.m. will be the start time for that noon tip-off between the Tide and the Gators. Then we'll kick it all back off next week with Hey Coach and Crimson Drive, like always, on Monday and Tuesday. Make sure you follow us at UA_CTSN for the very latest on the Crimson Tide. We look forward to what's coming up here on the Crimson Tide Sports Network. And as we wrap up this show, have to say a huge thank you, of course, to our guest, Jalil Bethea, who joined us at the top of the show, along with Gray Robertson, for his fine work on our courtside cam highlights, basketball booth cam highlights, and his postgame conversation with Christy Curry. Thanks as well to Bryan Passink for his comments after the Tennessee game on Saturday. And then, of course, Chris Stewart and Nate Oats on Hey Coach last night. Man who put all that together, Ethan Carabin, produces all of our video content here on the Crimson Tide Sports Network, including this show, Crimson Drive, driven by NASCAR. Huge thank you to Ethan for his work. And as we say goodbye here on this Tuesday afternoon, fully knowing we're going to have a great basketball game tonight between Alabama and Missouri, we'll let head coach Nate Oats have the final word of the night, presented by McCurry Van and Carr Rental from last night's edition of Hey Coach and the Nate Oats Show, presented by Alpha Insurance. This is Roger Hoover saying so long on this Tuesday, and now the final word of the night from Nate Oats.
Whoever ends up being healthy enough to play, we've got good enough players to win the game, no matter who's healthy to play. So hopefully, Aiden Holloway practiced today. I thought he looked really good. So hopefully he has no setbacks for tomorrow. He's able to play. Amari did not practice. I know he's been in quite a bit. He was in when I left.
Talking about the training room.
Yeah, in the training room. I mean, he's in getting treatment all the time. So, and Clark works out. I agree with Houston. I think we got the best. You talk about their team that takes care of the guys, and their bodies, between Clark, the trainer, Henry, our strength coach, and Amanda, our dietitian. I think we got 3 best in the country, and they're doing everything they can to make sure that our guys are healthy. And sometimes, I mean, it's athletics, it's sports. Injuries happen. Sometimes you get a rash of them, and call it unlucky, call what you will, but I feel like we got the best people taking care of them. You talk about our NBA guys, they come back. I mean, they want to come back, work out with Henry, train with Clark. They know Amanda knows what she's doing. She does a great job taking care of the guys with their health, all that stuff. So everybody's working, probably way more than we usually do, just try to get everybody healthy. But everybody's doing their part, and we got to be patient, and the guys got to keep working. We'll get the guys back when they're supposed to be back.
That's the final word from Coach Nate Oats, presented by McCurry Van and Car Rental. Coach, always good to see you. Thank you for the time, and hope to see everybody again 7 o'clock tip time tomorrow night at Coleman Coliseum against Missouri.
Appreciate you having me on again.
It's your show.
Every week.
It's your show. Good to see you, my man.
Tide.
Roll Tide. Coach Nate Oats with us.